Dumelang, Avsheni, Ralocha, Sanwanani, Mulweni. My name is Naledi Mfoloe, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the latest edition of the African Diaspora News channel, where we unravel the stories that shape our world and our community. Now, I wanted to talk about something that's been on my mind for a while, and especially after the recent leaked recording of Afriforum and the disturbing propaganda that came with it. Now, honestly, what I heard left me feeling quite angry and unsettled and more concerned than ever for our future as a nation. And in this recording, we hear a group of individuals, primarily the Boers, openly expressing the belief that South Africa was a mistake and that it should have never been integrated with non-white communities, and that the land should belong to a tiny minority of 7.7% of the population. And the rest of us, specifically the 80.8% of South Africa's population, should just pack and leave. Now, let that sink in for a moment. The majority of the people who were born here and raised here and who live here should leave their own country. Now, let me ask you, does that make sense to you? Because it certainly doesn't make sense to me. And I mean, they're telling us that South Africa should have stayed a land of exclusion, a land of segregation, where Black people and colored people and Indian people never had a place to call home. But this land is our land. I mean, we bled for it, and we will not let anyone rewrite the history of this land to fit a narrative that denies our right to it. Let's watch this.
Reject this idea of the inevitable flow of history. If there is any inevitable flow to history, it's this, that we as white people are destined to rule over ourselves. That is the inevitable flow of history. And so I think that if we can show that to people internationally, then that will also give them hope, because I think a lot of white people today, I mean, I've heard this many times here on Twitter. You know, if I say to people from America or Europe that they must say to their people that they must tell these non-whites to leave their countries. I heard this today from a guy in America. He said to me, and to the other Americans and Boers there, he said, well, you see, we can't kill them all, so, we have to find ways to, integrate the non-whites. And I was like, that is how South Africa got to be this way. You see, finding ways to coexist with these people is how 120,000 of my people lie dead. That is how you coexist with them. You seek peace as a white man, and they seek to slit your throat tonight and gang rape your wife and shove your child into an oven, which they then promptly turn on. That is their idea of coexistence. So the next time you see one of these filthy little communists with their coexist sticker, you can see that that sticker symbolizes the death of a white child. These are the people. I'll give you an example. I heard this story from a friend of mine whose neighbors got murdered in this way. They were killed. Their child was literally crucified to a kitchen table. They're the type of people which would nail a little girl to a kitchen table. There is no coexistence with him. There is no peace to be had with him. The only peace to be had with him is peace through victory. Peace through them leaving our lands. Diversity plus proximity plus diversity equals conflict.
Yeah.
It always will. It won't change. No amount of us wishing it away will change. There is no coexistence with these people, and there is no running from it. That is the other thing. They are flooding every white country. All that we can say to them is, listen here, nigger pet, or whatever other kind of creature we are addressing in that given white country. This is our land. Get the heck out. And if they don't want to get the heck out, then we make them get the heck out, because we are capable. The world belongs to us if we only have the conviction to seize what our ancestors have left for us. We are capable of literally anything we put our minds to. We have the potential of our ancestors within us.
Yeah. This isn't only a issue in South Africa. And again,
And then there's the part of the recording where they talk about these fabricated stories of a child crucified and another shoved in an oven. And for me, it's like these are malicious, invented tales designed to fuel hatred and create division. Because if this is true, why is it that the world knows nothing of these supposed events? And why have they never been reported and never been proven? I think that these kinds of stories do nothing but stoke the flames of violence and divisions, which are feeding a narrative that could divide us even further apart as a country. Because honestly, hearing this, it feels like there's something brewing beneath the surface here. Because do you guys remember those reports last year about the illegal military training camps found on several farms across the country?
Attend a meeting, Sakina, in which I meet a former president of the Federation van Afrikaanse Kultuur Organisaties. And I meet someone from Oranje. And the meeting is motivated by them saying they need to talk to moderate blacks. In those days, I was still regarded as a moderate black. And the reason they need to do so is because they say their people are arming themselves legally, are getting training illegally. And if you go to some parts of the country, on farms, there is paramilitary training taking place as part of the process that they described to me. I expect the president to provide leadership to the intelligence community and the security establishment as a whole to make sure that, first of all, that which was reported to me is investigated and is thwarted to the extent that the aim is to cause some manner of instability.
I mean, we're talking about paramilitary training on private property. That is something we need to pay attention to, because could this be connected to the kind of statements we're hearing from Afriforum? And are these people actively preparing for something that could spill over into violence? If we have to look at what happened with Cyril Ramaphosa and that bill he signed out of nowhere, it seemed, right? Could it be that he's aware of what's brewing and what's been planned behind the scenes, and maybe he saw the writing on the wall and that's why he took action so suddenly? I mean, personally for me, I think we can't ignore the possibility that there are forces in this country that want to take us back to the time of segregation, which was a time of exclusion and violence. And this situation really makes me think of what Joshua Mabonga said not so long ago.
To all my white brothers from Germany and from South Africa, if you are not careful the way you handle land, you are going to leave your children with a snake in the back. Because these young people you see here, one day when they wake up and they ask each other, where is our land? After being to Australia and they are told you're an illegal immigrant. They go to America and they are told you're an alien. They go to Britain and they are told you're a foreigner. And they come back home here and they are landless. Your own children, you will turn in your grave as our children will start victimizing your children. If you are smart enough to hear a fool, start making arrangements to relinquish some of the land into the black hands, to diffuse the anger of the people. Use democracy to bribe them and be nice to them when they can still listen.
And let's be real, if things continue the way they are, if we let this kind of statement grow unchecked, that day could come sooner than we think. Because the truth is, South Africa has been a land of struggle, of resistance, and of resilience. And no matter how hard they try to rewrite our history or paint us as the enemy, this is our land. We have always been here, and we're not going anywhere. But that doesn't mean we can't afford to be complacent. Because the forces of division are real, and they're looking for ways to actually tear this country apart. What are your thoughts on this? Please, let's continue the conversation in the comment section. And while you're at it, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. That's it from me till we meet